Hey, I'm Lexford. I play games, and today we are continuing the DLC overview series by talking about Snowfall. The chapters are down below, so if you really just want to hear the summary and verdict, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, let's get into it. Snowfall is Cities Skylines' second DLC, released in February of 2016, and it goes for $12.99 US. So what does your cold, hard cash get you? Get it? Cold? Anyway, Snowfall includes a winter theme, 3 new city services, trams, 11 parks, 6 service buildings, 11 unique buildings, and 13 to 23 new roads depending on if you have After Dark and or the Plazas and Promenades DLC. Now let's talk features. The most apparent feature of Snowfall, of course, is the falling snow. Snowfall adds winter-themed maps to the game. With winter maps, there's always going to be snow on the ground, and snow will occasionally fall just like rain in regular maps. Sometimes even the Northern Lights will make an appearance. Or all the time, if you use Play It. All this new weather requires 2 new city services. For one, it's cold, and your Sims aren't too fond of hypothermia, so you should probably try and keep them warm. The best way to do that is to build either a geothermal heating plant or a boiler station to manage the new heating mechanic. Heat from these buildings gets distributed to your buildings with heat pipes that replace regular water pipes. If you don't build heating stations, your Sims will still stay warm, but demand for your electricity in your city will rise as your Sims desperately plug in space heater after space heater and plan to start a coup against their inept mayor. Your Sims are real troopers though, and the snow that's on the roads with this DLC won't keep them from going out, but they will drive slower. Luckily, Snowfall adds snow plows to the game. These vehicles spawn from the snow dump building and will clear the snow from your roads, allowing traffic to return to a normal speed. They slowly fill up with snow over time until they go and dump it back at the snow dump. Imagine that. Which isn't how real-life snowplows work, but it's fine. Snowfall also added road maintenance depots, presumably because plows degrade road quality in real life. But roads in CS don't actually degrade or need maintenance, so the depot sends out maintenance trucks that just provide a temporary speed boost to roads after driving over them. With any luck though, and a little bit of planning, your Sims aren't driving on your plowed roads because they're too busy taking trams. Trams are honestly one of this DLC's biggest selling points. Trams spawned from the tram depot and can utilize both the city's existing road network with tram roads or their own dedicated tram tracks. They're a nice transit option for when a bus line gets too busy, but a metro line or train line isn't quite warranted yet. They're cheaper than the metro and train lines, but slightly more expensive than buses. Unlike buses, they're unaffected by any snow that may be on the roads, but they can still fall prey to traffic jams just like any old bus could. Trams also don't need any dedicated station buildings like metro and trains do, you just add their stops like you would a bus line. Originally, Snowfall just added one type of tram that carried 90 passengers, but the free 1.15.1 Roads and Vehicles patch added 12 new beautiful tram models for Snowfall owners that carry anywhere from 65 to 140 passengers. This addition makes trams a highly versatile and relatively economic public transit option. And as a cherry on top, the aesthetics are immaculate. I mean, seriously, I could watch these bad boys roll through my city streets all day. It's a good thing you've got clear roads and gorgeous trams, because your Sims and tourists are going to want to visit all the new buildings this DLC adds. You're getting 11 parks, including a fishing pier, an ice hockey rink, a snowmobile track, a snowman park, an ice sculpture park, a sledding hill, a curling park, a skating rink, a ski lodge, a cross-country skiing park, and a fire pit park. This DLC also adds the sauna service building, which provides a small health boost and a luxury service boost just like parks do. You're also getting 11 unique buildings with the Snowfall DLC. These include the ice fishing pond, the frozen fountain, the ice hockey arena, the ski resort, the snow castle restaurant, the spa hotel, the sleigh ride, the snowboard arena, Santa Claus's workshop, the Christmas tree, and the igloo hotel. Finally, at its base level, Snowfall adds 13 roads that come with tram tracks, 8 of which were only recently added with the 1.15.1 Roads and Vehicles patch last November. If you own Snowfall and After Dark, you'll get these 4 roads that have tram tracks plus bike and or bus lanes. If you own Plazas and Promenades, you'll get these 6 pedestrian streets that have tram tracks. So what should we make of Snowfall? The winter theme is obviously a core feature of this DLC, and it's pretty hit or miss. Some people love it, some hate it. For myself, I've owned Snowfall for a while, and I can honestly say I never played a Snowfall map until I started this city specifically for this video. I can now say that I think it looks great and isn't nearly as bland as I had feared, but a common criticism of Snowfall is that it should have been a Seasons DLC, where the game went through 4 seasons and added snow to existing maps, and I really do echo that sentiment. It would have made it a lot better. As it is, outside of mods like Theme Mixer, there's no way to change a winter map to a regular one and vice versa, which really brings down the value of the DLC, especially if you don't have access to those mods. I imagine that most people would use winter maps for a bit if this was a Seasons DLC, but it's not. And given the current choice between 24/7 winter and 24/7 summer, I think most people are going to choose summer, which undermines a core part of this DLC. The heating system makes sense for the winter theme of this expansion, but it does really just kind of seem like another thing to manage. Luckily, the heating pipes also include water distribution, so it's not too much of a pain, and you can even upgrade them from your regular water pipes if you need to. The snow plows are kind of fun given that snow is falling, and the road maintenance depot is kind of neat, I suppose, but it's not really a necessary mechanic in your cities by any means. Trams, as I mentioned before, are awesome, and for me it was the reason I originally bought the DLC. Sure, they may have downsides compared to Metro or Monorail, but they are generally a pretty economical option. Plus, with multiple tram types to choose from, you can create highly customizable networks. Some players even opt to forgo Metro altogether and create something of a light rail network throughout their city using trams. However, I do think the functionality of trams can be replicated with high-capacity bus express routes and metros or monorails. So while I personally love trams and they're a staple in all my city, they're definitely not something you need to have in your game by any means, and you're not going to be handicapped or anything without them. A lot of people criticize the fact that trams are part of Snowfall and not the mass transit DLC. I understand the frustration, and I think this is due to the fact that Colossal Order is actually better at listening to the community than some people like to think. At the time of Snowfall's development, remember it's just the second DLC, the community was really asking for trams, so CO worked them into the next update. You see this with a lot of seemingly misplaced DLC features, like getting bikes in After Dark or getting inner-city buses in Sunset Harbor, and I think that's probably the best explanation for that. The new parks and unique buildings added by Snowfall look great in winter maps. Honestly, they're some of my favorite looking park assets, and they fit the theme very well. But unfortunately, that's also kind of one of their downfalls. They fit well in Snowfall maps, but not so well outside of the winter theme. So most people don't really get much use out of them. In fact, without mods, you can't even place them in non-Snowfall maps. The roads that come with Snowfall are great for the new trams, and I use them all the time, because I'm using trams. But if you don't feel the need for trams, then these roads are nothing to be missing. I mean really, they're purpose-built for trams. So with that being said, is Snowfall worth a buy? On a scale of you definitely don't need this, to you should really get this, I'm going to do something potentially controversial and put Snowfall in the you could probably live without this tier. Why do I say that? If you're buying Snowfall, it's for a very specific reason that makes it worth it to you. Maybe it's the winter theme. I know some people love it. Maybe it's trams. That's why I bought the DLC. If either of those really appeal to you, then Snowfall probably falls, get it? In the you'd probably miss this tier, and I'd recommend it to you. I certainly don't regret buying it myself, but I suspect that for the average City Skylines player, they can live without those things and would be better off spending their money on other expansions. If you like the idea of trams and or winter themes, but don't think that those alone are worth the $13 for this DLC, then it might be worth waiting for a sale or checking out IsThereAnyDeal.com. There you can find prices compared across multiple sellers that, to my knowledge, are authorized by Paradox as key resellers and are not third-party gray market key resellers. Just do a little research if you're buying from a new site and ensure that you're getting a Steam key if that's what you play on. I'm not sponsored by IsThereAnyDeal, by the way. I just think it's a really useful site, and I wanted to pass that tip on to you because you can usually save a good amount of money outside of the Steam sales. Overall, Snowfall really seems like a bit of a tragic expansion to me, and I think you're starting to see why it's so controversial in the community. The maps look great, and everybody loves trams, but the majority of folks won't play on Snowfall maps the majority of the time, which really brings down the value of this expansion for your typical CS player. And that's it! If this video helped you come to a purchase decision and or you learned something about Snowfall, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like down below, as these videos do take more time to make than you'd think. And if you want to see more of this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. With that, I've been Lexford, and thank you so very much for watching.